Well, Shane, you kind of teased it there. Let's jump on down to the Plains because a lot happened there while we were away. And the key one, of course, Bo Nix enters the
Mm,
transfer portal, leaving the Auburn Tigers, has no intention of returning. And man, so many mixed emotions for me with this one because I know, you know, he's a guy a lot of people love to poke fun of and all this. He's not the
mm-hmm.
perfect quarterback, but he was coming off one of his best seasons there as an Auburn Tiger. But had he returned, Shane, it would have been his fourth offensive coordinator in 4 years. I don't know if this is really an indictment on Bryan Harsin or not. Maybe it is, but at the end of the day, Shane, we talk about all this NIL stuff. Bo Nix was
Yeah.
one of the biggest NIL guys, and a lot of that had to do with him being an Auburn legacy, being the face of
Mm-hmm.
that program. And man, anytime we put out a video or a clip or anything of Bo Nix, it gets tons and tons of attention. He's one of the most popular players in the entire conference. And now the face of your program is gone. What are your thoughts on this, Shane? Because I'm a little now. Maybe he'll go somewhere and he'll be outstanding. He's a graduate. He's got 2 years to play. I think his plan is to only play one and make it to the NFL, but he could be
Yeah.
around for 2 years. But I feel like he's hurting his legacy a little bit here, and maybe he don't care about that right now. But he could have been one of these guys that would have always been remembered down there on the plains, and now I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, well, the problem is, Mike, we weren't in the locker rooms. We weren't at the practices. There was times during the season we didn't know how secure Bo Nick's job even was. So does he want to go through another season of that? I mean, this is a kid that was highly touted coming into Auburn. This was a guy. This was a
Right.
legacy. He was a poor man, Arch Manning, if you ask me, man, because he came in on that pedestal thinking he was going to be the next Heisman. He was going to take Auburn to national championships. That's a lot of pressure as a young kid, and that's the pressure they put on him down there. So I don't know if that hurt him fundamentally, but when you bounce around something you mentioned, 3, 4 coordinators, I mean that's got to mess with you too. You're learning a new playbook every single year, so I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this because I wish nothing but the best for Bo Nix, but I'll always think of him as an Auburn Tiger. It's hard not to,
Right.
just for all the games that he's played. So I don't know. Is there any chance he comes back? I mean, is this? I mean, it's not done. It's not the ink hasn't dried or anything like that. I think you got to sit down with. I guess Mike Bobo's sticking around, right? I haven't heard
No,
any.
no, no. See, that's what I was going to say.
Oh,
They fired Bobo, but what they haven't officially announced it, but it certainly all indications are Auburn is going to hire Seattle Seahawks quarterback coach Austin Davis as the new offensive coordinator. So maybe there's a glimmer of hope there that Bo Nix looks at that and says, "Well, hell, my goal is to get to the NFL. What
right.
better way than to learn from an NFL coach how to get there?" So maybe that brings him back, but I don't know, Shane. Based on everything I've heard, I think he's kind of washed his hands of the Auburn Tigers, and he's just looking for a fresh start somewhere else.
Yeah, but I mean, when you go somewhere else, you're still going to have pressure on you. You're Bo Nix, so I don't know. I'd
Right.
kind of like to see him stick around, maybe pull a tank and get back get back on campus. But I think this is something that the coaches are going to have to win or decide. Do they
Mm-hmm.
see a future with Bo Nix, or have they seen enough from him? I think that's the decision you make because yeah, say what you want. That's part of the reason that Gus Malzahn's not there. His quarterback play, he
Right.
if he would have had good quarterback play like he got in years past, he'd still be sticking around down there. But when you have bad quarterback play and you lose games that you're supposed to win, then people are pointing the finger at you and you're losing a job. So it's a tough market, man. And are you willing to gamble on Bo Nix? And I don't think you can based off based off his season's work. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
This one's on Bryan, man.
And you teased it again there, Shane. But maybe the biggest news: Tank Bigsby. It looked like he was going to leave Auburn, and he flipped the script there, Shane. He's staying. He met with Coach Harsin. He didn't show up for bowl practice. I mean, that's a pretty big sign that he's done with playing. But apparently, they have convinced him to stay. And for as good as Bo Nix is, Tank Bigsby is your offense. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's the game breaker. He's the
Yeah.
game changer. He's a guy that I don't know what his plans are, but I gotta assume after next season, as soon as he's eligible for the draft, he's gonna go because how can
Mm-hmm.
you not look at him as maybe the first potential running back taken when he is eligible? I mean, he's that good of a player, and if I'm Bryan Harsin, I mean, the meeting had to have been, we're gonna build this offense through you. We're gonna get you
Right.
the touches. We're going to try to get you, all American status and show the NFL what you can do. And you talk about Hendon Hooker being the biggest win for Tennessee, keeping Tank Bigsby. That's likely the biggest win Auburn could have this offseason.
Yeah. Well, I think it's big too. One of the things you just mentioned, their coordinator. I mean, when you look at the Seattle Seahawks and what type of offense they run, it's predominantly running, so it's clock
Right.
management, and I think that plays in Tank's hands very well. So, yeah, when you could come to him and say, hey, we're going to build this team around you, and then you hire a coach that's going to do that, then, yeah, I'm going to stick around because I want to get paid